What's going on YouTube, it's Jason, and in this video I'm going to be discussing intermittent fasting, whether or not it's good for weight loss, what we should be aware of, and whether or not I'd recommend it as a trainer and nutritionist. Now there are various types of intermittent fasting: 16-8 where you fast for 16 hours and eat for 8 hours, or 5-2 where you fast for 5 days and only eat for 2, but it's all around the same principles. Now whether you are for or against intermittent fasting, you can't argue with the science. Nearly all the studies out there do show that participants do lose a significant amount of weight. But not so fast. All that glitters isn't gold. What does a person need to be aware of if they want to try out intermittent fasting? Well, the first thing is that the primary thing you need to satisfy when it comes to weight loss is calories in versus calories out. If you go online, there are numerous forums where people are complaining, "I'm intermittent fasting and I'm not losing weight. What should I do?" As though intermittent fasting is some sort of magic wand. Your body is still subject to energy balance, so even if intermittent fasting is going to work, you need to be in a calorie deficit, i.e. consuming or burning more calories than your body needs to maintain itself. If you haven't satisfied that requirement, intermittent fasting or any other diet is not going to work for you. Remember, all the same rules still apply. Intermittent fasting is just a tool for weight loss. Number 2 is what I describe as the shortcut mindset. Now people don't realize this, but the difference between a person losing and gaining weight is often in the mindset. In my experience, most of the people that are struggling with their weight are always on the lookout for a shortcut or a quick fix. They don't realize that their weight gain is a symptom of a bigger problem, like stress or trauma or a change in life circumstances. And unless they address the underlying issue that caused them to gain weight in the first place, all they're simply going to do is dab the wound and the weight is going to be regained. And that brings me on to my third point, and that is sustainability. Intermittent fasting is a really weird way to eat. Like, it doesn't really fit in that well with a normal family or work life. I've been out with mates before that are intermittent fasting, and they're just a pain to be around. Everyone's enjoying themselves, having some drinks, some food, and they can't eat because they're outside their window. It changes the vibe when everyone's enjoying themselves and you're not. And inadvertently, you can become the center of attention. So to be honest, intermittent fasting in 99% of situations only lasts so long. Therefore, the vast majority of people don't stick it out long enough to see the full results. The fourth thing to be aware of is that intermittent fasting in its pure form ignores macros. By macros, I mean macronutrients, so proteins, fats, and carbs. One of the things I always tell clients is that calories in versus calories out determines whether or not you lose or gain weight, and macros determine what you gain and what you lose. Let's make no bones about this. If 2 people eat 2,000 calories and one person ate all of their calories in Skittles and the other person in chicken breast, the person who eats Skittles will lose a lot more muscle. So yes, intermittent fasting might trick the body and cause you to eat less, but if you're not eating whole food, healthy proteins, good carbohydrates and fats, you're probably going to lose a lot of your weight in muscle. And while that might seem like a good idea because you might lose more weight, muscle has the biggest impact on a person's shape and health. So you could actually lose a huge amount of weight and be more out of shape and more unhealthy. Trust me, you don't want to lose muscle. So I use the term weight loss because most people understand it, but really the priority should be losing fat. And the final thing to be aware of are the side effects. We live in a really annoying social media era at the moment, where if someone gets results from something, no one questions it. He or she swears by intermittent fasting and they always have chiseled abs. Who cares? Do you know the state of their health? The most prominent side effects of intermittent fasting are low blood sugar, fatigue and weakness, and potential eating disorders and binging. We forget the fact that somebody can look the part, not be diagnosed with a formal eating disorder, but still have disordered eating. For example, I've seen people that are very lean, like single-digit body fat, take food scales to restaurants. Like, that is beyond weird and extreme. But if you dare question them, they're just dedicated to getting in shape. So all that being said, would I recommend intermittent fasting as a qualified nutritionist? I would say, on the whole, no. It can work for some people, and there are some people that get results out of it, but I would say the vast majority of people can't sustain it. I don't see many people with a healthy relationship with food that keep intermittent fasting up for like 5 or 10 years. What I see more often than not is an inability to stick to the fasting windows, and people end up binging and or developing eating disorders. So I've tried intermittent fasting before for myself as an experiment because I don't want to knock something until I've tried it, but I've never used it on any clients. It doesn't work as a long-term solution, and this shortcut diet mentality is the very reason some people are overweight. The way most people eat when they cut their calories through intermittent fasting, they end up becoming nutrient deficient and actually more unhealthy. So before you get swept up by the latest film star or TikToker that dropped 40 kilos, consider everything I just said in this video. I'm not telling you not to intermittent fast, but weigh up the pros and cons and make an informed decision. If you do decide to go ahead with it, I'd recommend consulting with your GP or doctor first, and remember this, it is only a tool for weight loss, not a magic wand. All the same rules of calories in versus calories out still apply. So I hope you enjoyed that video and found it helpful. Don't forget to drop the video a like, leave a comment below, let me know how you found it. If you've tried intermittent fasting for yourself and the results you've got, please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.